Yes. Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Asterisk, my beloved sisters, may Allah bless you, guide you, and elevate your rank in both this world and the next. Today's reminder is gentle yet powerful. It's titled Asterisk. When women focus on themselves and stay silent, everything falls into place. Asterisk, you see, we live in a time where everyone has something to say. Social media has turned every opinion into a loudspeaker. Everyone wants to be heard, but seldom do we hear silence. Seldom do we see a person truly focused on their own journey. My dear sisters, let me tell you something beautiful. Asterisk, not everything deserves your attention. Not every noise requires your response. Asterisk, there is tremendous power in silence, not the silence of oppression, but the silence of wisdom. There's a difference. When you choose to stay silent, not out of weakness but out of strength, when you choose to walk away from gossip, from arguments, from proving yourself, you are not losing, you are rising. When you focus on yourself, your connection with Allah, your mental peace, your heart, your healing, something amazing begins to happen. Asterisk, Allah begins to open doors for you. Asterisk, He places barakah in your steps. He brings peace into your home, He fills your heart with contentment, and suddenly the noise around you becomes irrelevant. Asterisk, why? Asterisk, because you're not fighting battles that were never yours to begin with. Sisters, not every fight is yours to fight. Sometimes silence is louder than any argument. Sometimes the best response is to walk away with dignity, with grace, and with trust in Allah. Our beloved Mother Maryam, peace be upon her, is one of the greatest examples of this. When she was tested with something no woman had faced before, carrying a child without a man, what did Allah command her? Asterisk. If you see anyone, say, I have vowed a fast to the Most Merciful, and I will not speak today to any human being. Asterisk, Quran 19:26. Look at that. Silence, and yet what happened? Allah defended her, Allah honored her. Allah made her story one of strength and purity without her needing to utter a word. My sisters, sometimes you are fighting to explain yourself to people who don't even deserve a seat in your life. Focus instead on your soul, focus on your prayer, focus on your health. Focus on becoming the woman asterisk. Allah asterisk wants you to be, not what society, social media, or people expect. When you focus on yourself, your salah becomes more peaceful. Your heart becomes lighter, your character becomes more beautiful, and Allah places a nur in your face that no filter can match. And remember, when Allah is with you, asterisk, nothing else matters asterisk. So let the world misunderstand you. Let them talk, let them assume. Silence is a sign of strength, not weakness. Many people associate silence with submission or defeat, especially in a world where being loud, opinionated, and constantly present is seen as confidence. But in reality, silence often reflects a deeper level of emotional maturity and spiritual awareness. It takes far more strength to remain silent in the face of provocation, insult, or misunderstanding than it does to lash out or defend oneself. A person who is secure within themselves does not feel the need to explain every action or justify every step to others. In Islam, silence is a virtue that has been praised in many authentic teachings. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Whoever believes in Allah and the Last Day, let him speak good or remain silent." This tells us that silence, when it protects one's dignity, prevents harm, or avoids unnecessary conflict, is actually an act of strength and belief. When a woman chooses silence, not because she is afraid, but because she is wise enough to recognize the value of peace over drama, that is power. Silence also allows space for reflection. It gives you the chance to evaluate your emotions before reacting. When someone says something hurtful or unjust, your silence can be more powerful than 1,000 words. It shows that their words did not shake you. It shows that you do not give them authority over your emotions. Furthermore, silence protects your energy. Constantly engaging with negativity drains your spiritual and emotional strength. But when you remain silent and choose your words carefully, you preserve your inner peace. You are no longer reacting to every storm around you, but instead responding with patience and composure. This strength is not loud, but it is deeply respected by those who recognize it. Not every battle deserves your response. In life, there will always be people who misunderstand you, speak against you, or try to provoke a reaction from you. If you spend your time and energy trying to respond to every comment, clarify every misunderstanding, or prove your point to every person, you will quickly become exhausted. One of the most powerful lessons a woman can learn is to choose her battles wisely. Just because someone throws a challenge your way doesn't mean you are obliged to pick it up. The Quran teaches us the value of overlooking, forgiving, and rising above petty disputes. Allah says, "And when they hear ill speech, they turn away from it and say, 'For us are our deeds, and for you are your deeds. Peace will be upon you, we seek not the ignorant.'" Surah Al-Qasas 28:55. This ayah beautifully reminds us that we are not responsible for the ignorance or bad behavior of others. We are responsible for how we respond. Responding to every insult or confrontation often pulls you down to the level of the person who is trying to provoke you. It steals your focus, disrupts your peace, and distracts you from your actual purpose. Wisdom is knowing when to speak and when to walk away. Strength is not always found in defending yourself. Sometimes it's in knowing that your silence is your shield and your dignity. When you stop reacting to everything around you, you begin to protect your mental and emotional health. You keep your heart clear and your intentions pure. Not every opinion about you deserves a reaction. Not every conflict is worth your peace. Sometimes the most graceful thing you can do is step back, say nothing, and let time reveal the truth. Focusing on yourself leads to inner peace and clarity. In a world that constantly demands your attention, pulls you in every direction, and distracts you with the lives of others, focusing inward is an act of strength and spiritual wisdom. When a woman begins to prioritize her own relationship with Allah, her emotional healing, and her personal growth, she begins to experience a calm that cannot be found through external validation or the approval of others. Turning your focus inward does not mean becoming selfish. It means recognizing that your peace, your well-being, and your spiritual state are your responsibility. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot help others when you are constantly neglecting yourself. Focusing on yourself means investing in your salah, reflecting on your character, taking care of your body, and feeding your soul with remembrance and gratitude. When you stop comparing your life to others, stop worrying about who's watching you, and stop living to meet the expectations of people, you begin to find clarity. The noise around you begins to fade, and you hear the voice of your own heart. You begin to make choices that are better for your future, not based on pressure, but based on purpose. Allah created you with a unique journey. You were never meant to live according to someone else's timeline or approval. By focusing on yourself, you take ownership of your path. You begin to notice your progress, however small. You begin to appreciate your own growth, even if no one praises it. That is the kind of peace that lasts, the kind that comes when your heart is aligned with your Creator and your actions are rooted in sincerity, not public opinion. That peace cannot be shaken by what people say or do. Allah defends those who trust Him. When you are wronged, misunderstood, or falsely accused, the natural human reaction is to want to defend yourself, to clear your name, or to explain your side. But there is a higher path, one that requires patience, sincerity, and deep trust in Allah. When you choose to stay silent and place your affairs in the hands of your Lord, He becomes your protector and your defender in ways you cannot imagine. In the Quran, we see this clearly in the story of Aisha during the incident of the false accusation. She remained silent, heartbroken and hurt, but she turned to Allah in prayer and patience, and what happened? Allah Himself revealed verses in the Quran declaring her innocence. That is the power of divine defense. When Allah steps in to defend you, no human effort can match it. Sometimes people may plot against you, speak ill of you, or try to damage your reputation. But if your heart is clean and you trust Allah completely, then you don't need to fight back with words or arguments. Allah sees the truth. He sees the tears you hide, the patience you show, and the dignity with which you carry yourself. There is a kind of peace that comes with knowing that Allah is your guardian. He is Al-Haq, the truth. He is Al-Adl, the most just. He never allows the injustice done to you to go unnoticed. Your silence, when rooted in faith, is never wasted. Your trust in Him does not go unrewarded. He will bring clarity when the time is right. He will lift you in the eyes of people without you needing to lift a finger. This is a promise from the one who never breaks his word. Spiritual growth requires withdrawal from noise. The world around us is filled with distractions, endless voices, opinions, arguments, and comparisons. It becomes difficult to hear your own thoughts, let alone feel the quiet pull of your soul yearning for connection with its Creator. To grow spiritually, you must create space for silence, reflection, and solitude. This does not mean isolation from life, but it means choosing intentional moments where you disconnect from the chaos to reconnect with Allah. Throughout the lives of the prophets, you will find that moments of deep revelation and clarity often came after periods of retreat and silence. The Prophet Muhammad received revelation while in the cave of Hira, away from the noise of society. That period of withdrawal wasn't wasted. It was preparation. It was purification. It was a quiet space for the heart to align with truth. When a woman steps back from environments and conversations that constantly drain her energy, she protects her heart. When she limits exposure to negativity, gossip, and superficial noise, her soul finds room to breathe. The dhikr of Allah starts to mean more. The verses of the Quran start to touch her deeper. Her du'as become more sincere because they are no longer competing with the noise of the world. You don't need to explain why you're quiet. You don't need to justify why you're no longer responding the way you used to. That space you are creating is sacred. That silence is the soil in which your faith begins to grow strong roots. You begin to see clearly what matters and what doesn't. You start detaching from things that once held too much weight in your heart. And in that space of stillness, your connection with Allah strengthens in ways you never expected. Maryam was honored through silence and submission. Her story is one of the most powerful examples of how dignity, patience, and trust in Allah can elevate a person beyond imagination. When she was chosen to bear a miraculous child without any man touching her, it was a test unlike any other. She carried within her something that would shake society, something that people would not understand. And in that moment of immense pressure and judgment, Allah did not ask her to explain or defend herself. He told her to stay silent. In Surah Maryam, Allah instructed her, "Say, I have vowed a fast to the Most Merciful, so I will not speak to any human today." This was not just a fast from food, but a fast from words. It was a command to trust Allah's plan fully, even when her reputation was on the line. And what did Allah do? He defended her through her newborn son, Isa, who spoke from the cradle. Her silence was not weakness, it was strength. Her submission was not defeat, it was divine alignment. Sometimes in life you may be placed in a position where speaking will only bring more confusion, more judgment, more chaos. And in those moments, if your heart is firm with Allah, your silence will be your shield. People may doubt you, accuse you, or question your choices. But if your intention is pure and your trust is placed in your Lord, He will honor you the way He honored Maryam. Her story reminds us that Allah sees the unseen. He knows what is in your heart. When you are quiet for His sake, when you hold back for His pleasure, when you trust His wisdom over your own urge to speak, you will be honored in ways that no human praise could ever match. True power is in self-control and discipline. In a world that glorifies quick reactions, instant gratification, and loud responses, choosing to remain calm, composed, and intentional is a sign of real strength. Anyone can react emotionally in the heat of the moment, but it takes a disciplined heart to pause, reflect, and respond with wisdom, or to choose not to respond at all. This kind of self-control is not a weakness. It is a spiritual strength rooted in sincerity and trust in Allah. The Prophet Muhammad said, "The strong man is not the one who is good at wrestling, but the one who controls himself in a fit of rage." This hadith shows that power is not in outward aggression, but in inner restraint. When a woman holds back her tongue from saying something hurtful, when she holds back her anger from turning into destruction, when she holds back her ego from needing to be right all the time, she is practicing a level of power that is rare and beautiful. Discipline also shapes the soul. It teaches you that not every emotion needs to be acted upon, and not every impulse deserves to lead your actions. The more disciplined you become, the more peaceful your life becomes. Your relationships improve, your mind becomes clearer, and your heart becomes softer. You begin to realize that silence in the right moment, patience in the right trial, and control in the right conflict are far more valuable than any momentary satisfaction gained from reacting hastily. Self-control allows you to protect your dignity, guard your peace, and preserve your connection with Allah. It creates a space within you that is not easily shaken by external events. That is the kind of power that transforms not only your character, but your entire path in life. Let your actions speak louder than your words. In a time when people rush to explain themselves, defend their intentions, or prove their worth through endless talking, there is something deeply powerful about a person who allows their behavior to be their voice. When your actions are consistent, sincere, and rooted in values, they carry a weight that words alone can never match. Words can be misunderstood, misquoted, or twisted, but consistent actions reflect the truth of your character. Islam teaches us that sincerity is seen by Allah before anyone else sees the results. A woman who continues to show kindness, honesty, modesty, and patience, even when no one is watching or praising her, is a woman whose heart is aligned with something greater than worldly recognition. You don't need to announce your goodness, just be good. You don't need to prove your intentions, keep them pure for the sake of Allah. There will be moments when people assume the worst of you, or when your silence is mistaken for weakness or guilt. But if you remain steadfast in your character, your consistent actions will become undeniable proof of your strength and sincerity. People may not notice right away, but eventually, truth shines through. A person who is rooted in good conduct does not need to explain themselves in every situation. They let time and consistency reveal who they are. The Prophet Muhammad was known for his character long before he received revelation. He was called Al-Amin, the trustworthy, because his actions spoke for him. When people trust your actions more than your words, you have reached a level of influence and respect that cannot be forced. It is earned slowly, with patience, humility, and a sincere desire to please Allah above pleasing people. Inner peace attracts divine barakah. When a woman cultivates calmness within her heart and contentment in her soul, she creates a space where Allah's blessings can flow freely. Barakah is more than just increase in wealth or success. It is a special kind of divine grace that brings goodness, ease, and abundance in every part of life. When your heart is at peace, your actions become more focused, your relationships more meaningful, and your efforts more fruitful. The opposite is also true. When your heart is restless, anxious, or consumed by negativity, barakah becomes scarce. Stress clouds your judgment, irritability strains your interactions, and dissatisfaction blinds you to the blessings you already have. Inner peace, then, is not a luxury but a necessity if you want Allah's mercy and blessings to multiply in your life. Achieving this peace begins with trusting Allah's plan and being content with what He has decreed. It means letting go of the need to control every outcome and surrendering your worries to the one who knows best. When a woman chooses to focus on her own spiritual growth, to pray sincerely, and to keep her intentions pure, she invites barakah into her days. Even the smallest tasks become meaningful acts of worship when done with the right heart. Moreover, peace of heart makes you patient with trials and grateful in ease, both of which attract Allah's mercy. The Prophet taught that contentment is a treasure, and those who possess it are rich, even if their worldly circumstances are modest. When your soul is calm, you are less likely to be overwhelmed by difficulties or distracted by superficial desires, allowing Allah to bless you in ways beyond your imagination. This inner tranquility becomes a magnet for divine favor that nothing else can replace. Growth happens when you prioritize Allah over people. In a world that often measures success by popularity, approval, or fitting in, true personal and spiritual growth comes when your focus shifts from pleasing others to seeking the pleasure of your Creator. When a woman places Allah at the center of her decisions, actions, and intentions, she begins to develop in a way that no external validation can provide. People will always have opinions about you, sometimes kind, sometimes harsh, sometimes misleading. If you live your life trying to meet every expectation, you will constantly feel restless and drained. But when your priority is Allah, your purpose becomes clear and your heart finds peace. You start to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. You become less concerned about the approval of people and more concerned about what will bring you closer to Allah. This shift in focus requires courage and sincerity. It means that sometimes you may need to walk away from relationships or situations that pull you away from your faith or your values. It means saying no to things that may be popular or tempting, but are harmful to your soul. It means embracing what is right, even if it is difficult or lonely. The Prophet Muhammad taught that a believer's success lies in pleasing Allah, not in worldly status or popularity. When you make Allah your ultimate goal, you start to develop patience, humility, and resilience. You build a character that stands firm despite criticism or misunderstanding. This kind of growth is lasting because it is rooted in something eternal. By prioritizing Allah, you align your life with the purpose for which you were created. Every step you take becomes meaningful, every hardship a lesson, and every success a blessing. This is how growth truly happens, when your relationship with Allah is stronger than your need for human approval.